The mean value theorem proof. In this video, I will be showing you how to prove this theorem in a step-by-step manner. All I need is your attention. Now, if you have seen the previous video, you need to understand the concept of that theorem. So now, if f of x is continuous on a closed interval AB and also differentiable on an open interval AB. Recall that if these two conditions are met, then there exists at least one number C there exists at least one number C that is a member of A comma B such that the f prime of that number will give you f of B minus f of A over B minus A. All I've written here is mean value theorem, that if a function is continuous on a closed interval AB and it is differentiable on an open interval AB, it means that there exists at least one number that we call C, and that C is a member of the open interval AB, such that if you take the f prime, that is, if you differentiate f of x and you substitute C in that equation, what you will get is the same thing as the second line, that is f of B minus f of A over B minus A. Now let me show you what the diagram looks like before we continue. Recall that we have something like this. Let's say we have a curve like this, where this is A on X, and let me pick this place to be my B on X. But there is a special case of mean value theorem that treats the value of A and the value of f of A and f of B when they are equal. So when the value of f of A and f of B are equal, that is the Rolle theorem. So in this case, there exists a C around here now, such that the slope of that number on that point, the slope of C, the slope of f of x on C is parallel to this line. Now, this is my f of x, this is my A, and this is another number, that's C. When x is C, this is the point. Now, I want us to do something. This curve is our f of x, which is already here. I want us to name this line. Call this line g of x. If this line is g of x and this is f of x, now I want us to label this part. There is a vertical distance between g of x and f of x. That is this straight line and this curve. Let that vertical line distance now be h of x. So now let's go back to our proof. Now you say that let g of x be the second line. The second line f of x. That's what we have just passing through a comma f of a and b comma f of b. That is this line, this yellow line. That's our g of x. You will agree with me that g of x minus f of a is the same thing as f of b minus f of a over b minus a multiplied by x minus a. This formula is the representation of y2 of y minus y1 equals m into x minus x1. Yes, since this is the gradient of the second line, this is representing the gradient of the second line, and these are the other 2 points. Now, you can make g of x the subject of the formula. So if you do that, you have g of x equals f of b minus f of a over b minus a into x minus a plus f of a. This is what we have now. Let's go back to the graph. We have already said that h of x is the vertical distance between f of x and g of x. So it is safe to say that h of x is the same thing as f of x minus g of x, distance, the vertical distance. So you can say that let h of x be a function that represents the distance between f of g and f of h. So let h of x be the vertical distance between f of x and g of x. So if h of x is the vertical distance between f of x and g of x, then h of x is the same thing as f of x minus g of x. From the graph, you should understand this. Since we have a value for g of x here, since everything on the right hand side represents g of x, then we can substitute g of x here. We can replace this g of x by writing the right hand side of g of x here. So we have our h of x now to be f of x minus f of b minus f of a all over b minus a into x minus a plus f of a. We have not done anything serious. What we did is substitution. We removed this g of x and placed the equivalent. Now, the vertical distance h of x is the distance between f of g and f of x and g of x. So if you look at this point on A, what is the vertical distance between f of g and g of x on A? That is h of A, this point is 0. What of B? The vertical distance, it means there is no distance between, on this point, that's the point 0, there is no distance between g of x and h of x on the point B. So it means h of B as well is 0. So since the vertical distance between f of x and g of x on point A and B is 0. Then we can say that h of A is the same thing as h of B, which is equal to 0. I believe you understand this. There are two special things that we can also say about h of x. H of x is a straight line. Vertical distance is a straight line. So it means that h of x is continuous at every point. So we can say that it is safe to say that h of x is continuous on a closed interval AB. That's one. Two, it is also safe to say that h of x is differentiable. It's a straight line on the interval a comma b, a closed interval. Now, if you look at everything I have stated here so far, it looks like the Rolle's theorem. What does the Rolle's theorem say? The Rolle's theorem says that if h of x or f of x is continuous and differentiable, and also if h of a, that is on the interval that we define now, if h of a is the same thing as h of b, is the same as h of b, then there exists at least a number c such that h prime of c is equal to 0. Go back to your Rolle's theorem and compare. So this implies that Rolle's theorem is applicable. Rolle's theorem is applicable here. So now, which means that there exists some number c, which is a member of a comma b, such that h prime of c is equal to 0. What is our h of x? Do not forget that everything here is our h of x. Everything here. Now let's bring everything out. Now, what we need to do, I want to introduce h prime of x. And how do I get that? I need to differentiate h of x to get h prime of x. How do I differentiate that? Follow this step. This is equivalent to this. F of b minus f of a over b minus a. If you open this bracket with this will be times x. This will be times x minus, if you use a to multiply this, you get f of b minus f of a over b minus a times a, then plus f of a. Now, if you differentiate this f of x, you get f prime of x minus, if you differentiate this, if you differentiate the whole of this, do not forget f of b, f of a, b and a, they are all constants. They are all constants. So their result will also be a constant. So what are we differentiating here? The whole of this is just a number, a constant, which implies that we are doing something like the differential of 2x. So the same thing is applicable here. If you differentiate everything here times x, you get everything back. So 2x differentiated will be 2. So everything here times x differentiated will be everything here. So you rewrite all this. And every other aspect is a constant. So all you need to do is when you differentiate the constant, you get 0. So everything here is 0. Now, this is our h prime of x, which means that h prime of x is the same thing as f prime of x minus f of b minus f of a over b minus a. Now for the special case, when the value of x is equal to c, then h prime of x will be equal to 0, which implies that when we substitute c for x, our h prime of x is equal to 0. So we have f prime of x, f prime of c minus f of b minus f of a all over b minus a is equal to 0. Now it is safe to say that f prime of c is the same thing as, when you take this to the right hand side, f of b minus f of a over b minus a. And this has been proved. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section.